explain your fascination. Not that you need to explain it because it makes sense to me, but I want to talk to you about Denzel Washington because you've devoted a chunk of your life to Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
And yes, an incredible actor, a very good.
Yes, an incredible actor. Like, yes. Yeah, Michael Jordan, pretty good at basketball.
I didn't say pretty good. I
said incredible. But like you said, like, yes, an incredible actor.
Well, yes, I'm just saying, but there are, what is it about Denzel Washington specifically?
Well, me and my friend Kevin Avery, who's also a comedy writer and actor, had a podcast for years called Denzel Washington is the greatest actor of all time, period.
Okay.
Because we felt we needed to declare that he was the greatest actor of all time, period, because he clearly is, and he did not get the respect at the time. So I just think that, like, you know, it feels weird. Like, why is chocolate delicious? I don't know, Conan. It's
well, I don't like chocolate. Yeah, very off-putting.
You're the weird one. You're the weird one. Yeah.
That's stupid.
I love that Sona tried to gasp, and it just sounded like you were one of those people that has a hole in their throat.
Come on.
You went... it just sounded like a tea kettle that had no water in it.
I'm like Debbie from the smoking commercial.
There you go.
With the hole in her throat.
Oh, that's what you are.
There you go. We figured it out.
Yeah.
Can you just say I smoked for 20 years?
I smoked for 20 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was.
Oh, that's a good laugh.
Yeah.
Terrible cancer. Anyway.
Oh my God.
Well, I hope you're happy.
I'm just saying I sound like Debbie.
Yeah, I think it's terrible.
Okay.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Has Denzel ever been on the podcast?
He has not. I don't think I've ever met.
Podcast?
That's one of the things I like about him. He doesn't do any of the.
It doesn't need to. I mean,
no, he's at that last era of actor who doesn't have to have social media. Doesn't have to. He doesn't even when he wins awards. He's not that impressed with.
He does a lot of game shows.
He does a lot. He's the new host of Family Feud. He's taking over for Steve Harvey. But he's only going to do it.
Just picturing. He has so much class and dignity. I'm just picturing him like doing stuff on Nickelodeon, getting slimed, and being like, "This is what you got to do.
He has
got to get the word out on on the enforcer or whatever. You know, I don't know.
Equalizer.
Okay, sorry.
That's all right.
No, I just think I think me and my friend Kevin would realize that we were talking about Denzel a lot, and we realized that like we didn't hear other people talking about him as much, and we just felt like nobody ever thinks of him as being one of the. I mean, maybe he's not the greatest, but nobody thinks of him as being among the greatest actors of all time, period.
But he gets respect, I'm thinking. I feel like Denzel Washington gets a lot of respect. No?
But whenever you talk about the greatest actors, there's like a sort of a crew of like De Niro and Pacino and DiCaprio, all the O actors.
Well, yeah.
He's more consistent than all three of them.
Yes, and has been and he's still a box office draw, even though he's like he's getting up there. But he's like, and I think the issue that he has had is because of Hollywood and the racism of Hollywood, that he's not seen as being in that same lane. And so I feel like we were just like, we need to claim him and also give him his flowers before he passes. Because when he goes away, there's going to be like a ton of like, he's the greatest thing. But I felt like I would like him to hear it now, even though it was embarrassing when I found out he had heard about the podcast.
Oh, he did hear about it.
Yeah. Well, so first Kevin met him at some event in LA. And at that point I had my first TV show. So Kevin was like, oh yeah, me and my friend, Kamau Bell, have a podcast about you. He goes, Kamau Bell, that's that brother's always talking about me on the internet. Which I was like,
oh, wow.
Felt a little like he was accusing me of being like, don't show up at my house. Like, yeah. Kevin said he just seemed like, oh yeah, we've put him on our list. Like we know that he's and then I got to go to his the AFI tribute to Denzel Washington, and they invited me to it. So I was like, well, at least I'm not on the bad list. And and my wife's like, you have to meet him. You have to go meet him. And I was like, I just can't. I feel weird. I did this podcast. I wasn't doing the podcast anymore, but I felt weird about it. I can't go talk to. And she's like, you have to. And so she literally like picked me up. Not literally picked me up because she's not bigger than me, but she's like, we have to go. So she escorted me over. It was during a break. And like Julia Roberts is there. Spike Lee is there. It's like all these famous people. And I'm walking over in this rented tuxedo. And Denzel, is talking to Spike Lee, and I'm sort of standing over there, and Spike Lee looks at me, who I've met before, and then Spike Lee says something to Denzel, and this woman who's a journalist says something to Denzel like, this is, and Denzel looks at me and looks at Spike Lee. I don't know if I can say this on the Conan O'Brien podcast, what he said.
Sure, go for it. You can say anything.
Denzel looks at me and goes, my nigga.
No.
That's cool.
First time that's been said on this podcast.
I was going to say, yeah, not since the Harrison Ford episode.
Yeah, I don't know why it was said so often on that podcast.
No, it was so weird. Yeah, that's why I started paying attention. And like Vince stands up and said, like he actually said, and I don't know if he still feels the same way, but in that moment he's like, I love you. Because at that point I was doing United Shades of America. And so I think he really started to understand me through that show, not through the sycophantic podcast. And then I wept. And that's
really nice. I like that story.
It's great. It's sort of, when I tell it, I feel a little embarrassed even telling it.
Well, I think it's a
except
great
for the nigger part. I was really excited to say that in front of this room full of people.
That's 2 times now.
Well, you said I could say it, so now I'm going to say it all the time. And now I'm going to invite everybody to say it.
You should phone
1, 2.
I've never seen a room clear out that fast.
My voice is gone.
Oh, nice!
That's my move.
Someone's like, my voice is coming back. Ah!
Sona might have said it a couple times today, and we wouldn't have heard it. It just sounded like a little burp.
Just to be clear for everybody listening on YouTube, that's with the A, the soft A, not the hard ER. It's the rap version.